Stonebwoy saying, Marini artist of the year 3 times. Me no official, and I feel other one I can. Okay, say no, Moko 2 stage now.
I've won the artist of the year, the ultimate 3 times, with 2 being formal and the other one, I believe that when time comes, fact is fact, whether hidden or in public. So we know. So I've won the artist of the year 3 times as a special kind of artist.
Stonebwoy sign say first time Oshia Samino. He was in SHS1 that time SSS. It's no SHS1 back then and Sana Oshia Samini.
When was the first time you met him? Face to face.
At Quick Action Studio.
Okay.
If I do remember. Or if I met him face to face and hadn't had any conversation,
Vibe,
that would have been in Adom FM, because we used to do the battle stuff already. So we were the young, small boys. So he would probably pass through as a senior artist. That would have been a first encounter. So I think the second encounter built up off of that when, the raga style was like, oh, young chap, very strong. So I was still in SS1 at the time.
And then Stonebwoy sign say, after saying Mammy Woo still now ultimately recover from the loss of his mother.
When Mama died, did you cry?
Absolutely. But that was the moment I knew I cried the most in my life. Yeah. Yes, but I had to also keep that one is depressing. Like, it's a natural depression. Something happens to you that you can't control, and you just pray to God to go through that period. And so when people say they are depressed and they're going through stuff, let's not take it for a joke. So, I think I've not recovered over that. And then there were works to do as well. So within that period, I had to do a certain event in Mauritius. That is where the crying was.
I was trying to subscribe at him, so for bell notification not on as usual. Now for young work to read the stories. Welcome back to Afripost TV. We'll soon for slide and like I say we are back. You are back say now say plenty information day what you say. You are back now saying on quantity and now information that it's a see it me hit updates no at the amount of we are aware of what's going on out there. Now okay say Shatawale ebo on God. And I'll say I am the news and I'll make you keep on talking. What you say? Say Stonebwoy and so say he will make us talk. Stonebwoy amaya kasasa from timer Ghana Black Stars for omo lottery no launching and afi omo partnership launching ni na Stonebwoy amaya kasa from then. Stonebwoy is still in the news feed. Na eneden na Stonebwoy asan akwa ya ye di no ho nkomo. Stonebwoy akwa meet careful day what you say. Na Stonebwoy akwa split fire. Stonebwoy akwa release information bi mu ono. I say ne ye ba be di ho nkomo na afi won information or the koto abantin. Nkomo bebre na Stonebwoy ko ya okudi what you say. Okudi nkomo fa kwan na ano whole torture experience na okoye no. Kwan no ni sika kra o de be host show no. Auto ni Range Rover and afi ni V8 and afi ni other cars bi mo ansa na wotimi hear this particular show.
I felt comfortable in it.
Yeah, man.
Then I told him, they were speaking about the shows that we've been doing and the whole show. I said, the whole show was massive. He said, that show was huge. Bro, but how do you pull it off? Then I said, Charlie, I even had to sell my 2 cars to invest in the show. That's what I sold my V8 and my Range to put in the show. And like, wow, really? I said, yeah. And you don't make the money, but we know, because these are business people talking. But we understand leveraging and having to still invest on whatever long-term strategy.
Now, I was here, my young work true story now, Stonebwoy say, and I find him found started because Stonebwoy didn't come up brave. But they can't be commodity of a car now or ton ye edico show no. Stonebwoy say or over Ghana Hanoma. Ye free be say proof, evidence, proof. Stonebwoy say on proof I actually say why you do my consistency. What you say? Proof I actually say Stonebwoy or no or you're consistent or proof or be because over Ghana right now. Reggae dancehall artist of the year on Kwano, a bunny TGM or no Warren Marco 9 solid times. What you say? Reggae dancehall artist in Kwano no Warren Marco 9 solid times. No, or be seen in the counterparts for Nina. And I feel artist of the year and the ultimate plug and I say ultimate prize, and also a tinya rain no Marco 3. Me no official and as a former. No say now 2019, 2020 on the normal year. No. Yentimia announce artist of the year because Stonebwoy echo stage in the Shatawale so sorry co stage on the movie Emma Stonebwoy echo puli. So okay, okotwin etu anti yentimia announce artist of the year no. But information surrounding it nature say Stonebwoy and a rainy, but omunim so more announce ya. Ebesia kwako create more basa you understand? And into man announce it. The Stonebwoy say warene 3, mienu e former, and other one na candidate, and your former. Now I don't know what's in your boy Ghana apa because Ghana a typical sound that you hip life. What you say about on what me the airway, what me the patois, what me the reggae, a wura new mum, at me a blended the air, you know the artist of the year me and son. It shows how powerful on Stonebwoy no is. What you say? I was trying to change some kind.
It's a proof of consistency and hard work for me at this point. It's a proof of consistency and hard work because I've won the reggae dancer artist 9 times, 4 times and 5 times with 2 years in between. Then I've won the Artist of the Year, the Ultimate, 3 times, with 2 being formal and the other one, I believe that when time comes, you know, fact is fact, whether hidden or in public. So we know. So I've won the Artist of the Year 3 times as a special kind of artist because typically, I say special because typically the Ghanaian sound or the Ghanaian typical style would be at least hip life. To say nothing at all will be high life, hip life, and rap and all the 3 dominating, you know, the whole. But I'm coming in with some airware, some dancehall, some dance, some everything, and patois and English, and I'm typical reggae raga artist. You know, these are special moments that I have to. I always focus on. On the win. Win in terms of this is what we have done, this is what is happening. And when it comes to performance as well, I trust that we have been able to also deliver, you know, to the.
Oye na kafu isen ko bisa ne say time a onya legendary Samini e mo ne ye enwuman a nwom ne title ye climax. Time a onya Samini mo yes a feature ne man no na Stonebwoy say oh time a Samini bo a me ye that particular song na nkasa no ne Samini e ye adwuma already. What you say? Now first time I meeting Samini no na our SSS1 a name man ka senior high school. What you say? Nka SH but on that time na SS secondary school. International Stonebwoy or SS1 and the first time I Oshia Samini. But first time I nkasa ne de no mutashia or adon kasa high levels no. Or more raga or more chero more abilities are. Na Samini at a pass through as a senior artist. What I say? It's the first time Fankasa Ocean in the quick action studio. A home na Samini train is a maza. The way you rag on the yes school pepe. Who complete SHS, may not be bolewa, may not be chillis. What I say? And after SHS, lady, or this Samini, a boily with music, numa. I was not doing some more I can.
A song like Climate featuring Samini. What was that? What's the story to that song?
That song is one of the breaking moments because Samini, the legend, of course, my godfather, and the big brother, of course. At that time, to get a Samini feature, it was just a breakthrough for you. And I was working under him during those moments. You know, he showed me a lot of love, especially by bringing me close to him after he would have chanced upon me along the journey.
When was the first time you met him? Face to face.
At Quick Action Studio.
Okay.
If I do remember. Or if I met him face to face and hadn't had any conversation,
Vibe,
that would have been in Adome FM because we used to do the battle stuff already. So we were the young, small boys. So he would probably pass through as a senior artist. That would have been a first encounter. So I think the second encounter built up off of that when, you know, the raga style was like, oh, young chap, very strong. So I was still in SS1 at the time. So we had a somehow, and Quick Action would have initiated that. So when I was on vacation, I'd go and check Quick Action because we all met through the program. We check him on Springtex Road, and Samini was recording at the time also to release the Obido album. I think that one day. So I managed after. That was what we met, and then he told me that me school on me bebo lepa, and one of his guys, AK, his bodyguard at the time, he was so fond of me. So he would be the one that would be, you know, pushing the matter a little bit more. He liked me. Anytime he came around, I was there also, most of the times, because I'm on vacation and I run from school on weekends and all that. So that's how he became a mentor who drew me close and hustled under him proper. And I think that here we are today, making him very proud amidst all things. You know, it's a family thing. Yeah, man. So we did Climax, and Climax blew up to the climax, up to the energies. JMJ produced that. we actually worked, and it was actually of a sample of I Love My Life. You know, we're just playing around, and that gave me some good break, and we released my album Grade 1 because it was a high grade family, and I was the first grade anyway. So we dropped the Grade 1 album off of that, and that was the actual promise that we made ourselves, or he made me, to release a project eventually, and that happened. So we just took on and sped it off.
I feel no, and all by bidding come at the afane mammy. We are always sending mammy a film. What I say now, Stonebwoy say, after sending mammy film in a chin, still now on Timmy recover. Few years ago, you still now on Timmy recover because how now, any mammy tea, any mammy film was simple, and anyhow, I better any mammy so, hospital, honor, still now on Timmy recover because. Oba hospital honum or enter hospital honum nangasano. He saw say they were resuscitating somebody on some of the iron adibina zion or many city panel so grana I understand you say no who's on your BBC but over we know that Anna any mummy ni mamma no more yen sabat amfa at yes and mamma quite finishing some already into a better mamma so obi any mammy and you could say you had it what I say and then how an mamma down on the swan mammy looks so beautiful. Obia wa film no na na mame ho ye fi too much so now on there he did not believe any mame film. He was really waiting say dey bechi amane mame atinani because na mame ho ye fi too much. After that no and no sign say the only time I want to go so one mame ko e aduane ho what I say the only time I go so no Stonebwoy ne mame nya akasa e aduane ho na ne mame be fa phone afre no hey secretary na di no go kan hey boy have you eaten what did he no what sema obi a me wo get to me hustle o frame de aduane aba be tata me na Stonebwoy say after say ni ma me film no na say okobosu e wo Mauritius oti play ma okono mo de aduane be sin anim no okai how a one ne ma me omoko aduane ho e na afi ni ma me time a oba be film no no ntimi ndidi e hospital wonom ne ade nti aduane ne be sin anim na no e no jalsum osun ya ma ne team ni members no ne omko program ni na no omunsu nyina sun bi bo ano. I was not dating some Stonebwoy sign.
When Mama died, did you cry?
Absolutely. But that was the moment I knew I cried the most in my life. Yes, but I had to also that one. That one is depressing. Like it's a natural depression. Something happens to you that you can't control, and you just pray to God to go through that period. And so when people say they are depressed and they're going through stuff, let's not take it for a joke. When my mom passed, because my mom was my everything. As far as shout out to my dad, but we all know we're not going to deep into that aspect of it too much. My mom was my rock. You know, my mom and I were connected intuitionally, everything, you feel me? So even when she passed, I think she had waited for me to get on. So immediately I landed in college in 37 at the time. I was the first one that they brought the body to. When I was rushing, I left my bag at the airport. I was rushing to the.
You got the word that she was sick?
Yes, but then they told me she was getting better. I still can't get over that till this moment. Because I was in New York, I'd only just won the BETs. And I spoke to her, she was at a village for a funeral, all those, funerals.
Yeah.
So she was there for a longer period because Mama Gan, she has to make sure she took care of the guys over there. And me too, I've always been a kubolo, always roaming around, chasing my destiny.
Maybe so, man.
Yes, now, so after the BETs, my sister, we realized that she was not feeling well a little bit, so I would get the information, I would speak to her once or twice, and so then it became a little bit critical. Then they said they took her, she collapsed at home one time, then I knew shit is getting crazy. Excuse my English. Another time she collapsed again. And they took her to the hospital. Then, my sisters were not even giving me updates. Is it till today? Sometimes they don't give me updates, because they knew, and I just got to be honest about it. One of the last times I was speaking to my sister, she's an American now, she was very close at that time. She has not finished giving me because I had to cut the conversation. She's still bringing me, you know what I'm saying? Because there was a moment she was supposed to have called me, and she said, and she thought I was busy, so I can't still get over that, call me. And this was when she was telling me this last month. After how many years?
The pain is real, man.
Like, yo. So I came back, rushed to the hospital, and it was that moment I was walking around the block. I was seeing some people resuscitating somebody, walking around the block to get into the entrance, and that was Mama.
That was Mama.
So immediately I got in there, then they just pulled her to me. So I was the first one to see her laid there. I couldn't believe. I had all hopes that she would wake up the next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I opened her eyes like that
Yeah.
to nothing. And I touched her feet like that. And she looked even beautiful. Because when she was sick and how she was looking right after, she was looking fresh. So it's like, just get up, let's go.
Yeah.
You know, if she was looking any way else, I could believe it's okay. When you die, you become something. But she's looking more beautiful, like ready to go home.
Nijola.
So, you know, I think I've not recovered over that. And then there were works to do as well. So within that period, I had to do a certain event in Mauritius. That is where the crying was. On the plane, they brought me food, and they put the food for my dad, away. Me and the people for the crying competition.
Charlie.
At the give, they give. At the give, I say, this for you, your mother die. But as you see, they say misery likes company.
Company, man.
Charlie, they cry, mama. And the thing is, what even sparked the whole crying was that, you see, my mom and I always fought about only one thing.
Okay, that's
food.
do.
And this is weird, but that's how everybody knows. We fought about one thing. Food.
Why?
Don't call me to come and eat.
You say she for no call you.
That's our fight.
Why?
I could be in town somewhere, hustling somewhere, you know, it's urgent to pick, where did he say, you know, so
It's a sign of love, man.
yes,
African women
course,
do
and
that,
I don't
man.
know how. That was the only thing.
It's a sign of love.
We were two lovers, but that was the only thing we fought about. Like, bro, and because we had gone through it, I have gone.
Ulu see mother one of the difficult moments. What I say, it is Stonebwoy how now I say plenty people can relate. What I say, when you lose to somebody close to you, you cannot relate. But what you should be happening, you are going to really relate with in some now. Boy, tell some information, kakra, or careful day, or the cotton information is plenty, but really yet, so once I ever see no home come. What I say, subsequent videos, some of them will come across. What I say, tell some influence here. Hit the subscribe button on our feed. Next video will be announced with your notification. See you again very soon.